Good evening. Welcome to the Spring 2017 Master's Degree Hooding Ceremony at Missouri Western State University. Please stand and join us in singing the national anthem. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening. We are pleased that you have joined us for this very special event this evening. This is the first time in Missouri Western's history that we have held this special ceremony to present the master's hooding for our graduating master's students. I am Jeannie Daffrin, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. I extend a very special welcome to all of our master's graduates and their families. It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Robert A. Vardabedian, President of Missouri Western State University, who will introduce the platform party.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daffrin. I'm certainly pleased to introduce the platform party, and they are beginning on my far left. The man who has the toughest job today, our announcer, Dr. James Okapal, who's also the Associate Professor and Chairperson of the Department of History and Philosophy. Next to him is Dr. Susan Baczynski, Chair of Missouri Western's Graduate Council and Associate Professor in the Department of Education. Next to Susan is Dr. Benjamin Caldwell, Dean of the Graduate School and also Professor of Chemistry and today's speaker. And finally, you've already met her, Dr. Jeannie Daffrin, who's our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Please give them a warm round of applause. Thank you.
Today we acknowledge the accomplishments of 52 graduate students who will be receiving their master's degrees at the commencement ceremony tomorrow. This group includes 25 women and 27 men. They come from the states of Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New York, and Massachusetts. Some students have crossed the globe to come here from other countries, including China, India, Latvia, Nepal, Nigeria, and Taiwan. In addition to the spring graduates here this evening, we have a number of our fall graduates who are unable to attend the December commencement, which we had to reschedule because of an ice storm. So we welcome those of you who graduated in the fall, and we're glad that you could join us this evening. The graduates that are here this evening include individuals who have excelled in their academic studies. A very impressive fact is that the average GPA for this graduating class of master's students is 3.8 on a 4-point scale. So I think we should applaud that. Included in this group of graduates are students who have presented their research or who have participated in regional, national, and international conferences, students who have volunteered many hours of service in the community and in the region, students who have worked as interns for local or regional employers, students who have participated in university student organizations, students who have served the university as invaluable student workers in many offices across campus, and as graduate teaching assistants, assistant athletic coaches, and athletic trainers. They've been very busy. Through their many talents and skills, members of this graduating class have contributed much to Missouri Western State University. I congratulate all of you who are receiving master's degrees and your hoods this evening, and look forward to learning of your continuing accomplishments. I am sure that our students will agree with me as I acknowledge the very important role that faculty have played in the student learning and success. We take pride in the quality and character of our faculty members and appreciate their dedication and hard work. Will all faculty members in attendance this evening please stand? And graduates and members of the audience, would you please join me in acknowledging and thanking the faculty for their very important contributions to the success of these students. Thank you.
As I mentioned previously, our speaker this evening is Dr. Ben Caldwell, and in preparing this introduction, I learned a lot about Ben, worked with him for 9 years now, but didn't know a lot of his interesting background. He earned his bachelor's degree in chemistry from Randolph-Macon College in Ashland, Virginia, and then he went on to earn his doctorate degree from the University of Virginia. Dr. Caldwell then spent 3 years as a postdoctoral student conducting research in the neuroscience department at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. Then we were fortunate to get him here in 1998 as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry. In that department, he has taught primarily courses in biochemistry, also has taught courses, introductory courses for both biology and chemistry, as well as classes for non-science students and honors students program. He works with many undergraduate students on laboratory research, particularly on how proteins function in cells. Also, his own research involves work to improve undergraduate education in the various sciences. He's collaborated with his fellow faculty here at Missouri Western on many grants by both the National Science Foundation and the National Institute of Health. He has served the university in many, many roles, including acting as the chairperson of the Department of Chemistry, serving on many institutional committees or bodies such as the Faculty Senate, the Honors Program Committee, the Graduate Council, and as a faculty advisor for several student organizations. He's also active in his profession, serving on a number of committees for the American Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, as well as being named an Education Fellow for all of his contributions. He's received several awards as a faculty member here at Missouri Western, including the Liberal Arts and Sciences Council of Chairpersons Award, the Board of Governors Distinguished Faculty Award, and the Missouri Governor or the Governor of the State of Missouri Award for Teaching Excellence. And certainly, last and not least, he is also our esteemed Dean of the Graduate School. So we thought it would only be fitting for him to address you tonight. Please welcome Dr. Ben Caldwell.
Thank you, Dr. Vardabedian. Most importantly, we'd like to thank all of the graduates who are here, but also our family members and friends. I think it's very important that you're here to share this event with our students who are, we'll call them master's candidates. As of tomorrow, they will be master's graduates. This evening, we're going to recognize and honor those students as they have completed the requirements for their master's degree. And so one thing you may not know is that of less than 8% of all college graduates go on to complete their master's degree. So you're going to join a rather exclusive club. So congratulations. And as Dr. Daffrin told us earlier, in addition to the 50-odd students who are going to be graduating this spring, we have a number of graduates from the fall who are with us. They've already received their degrees, but they weren't able to participate in the hooding or the commencement exercises. And this is particularly special to me because I was unable to attend my hooding and my commencement for my graduate degree. So I get to share this with you and with, again, every semester with our graduates. And so I really appreciate you being able to come back and do this. Now, in addition to celebrating your accomplishments, we have something else to celebrate, and that is in 2007, after we had been granted our university status in 2005, we began offering graduate degrees and our graduate courses at our first master's class or class of master's students began in 2007. There were 2 master's programs at that point. There was one graduate certificate program, and our first master's students or graduate students receiving their degrees happened in the spring of 2009, with 10 students receiving their master's degrees and 4 students receiving their graduate certificates. Now, this is our 10th anniversary as a graduate school, and so this is very special that you are here to participate in that. I want to thank all of you for that. As we move forward, we now offer 18 master's degrees and 6 graduate certificates, and so we have grown tremendously. So congratulations to all of you, and thank you for being part of this celebration. Now, for those of you who are in the audience, and I'm really going to focus mostly on the family and friends here, we're going to talk about you all a little bit and what you've gone through, but your family and your friends have watched you for several years, and they may have some questions. Particularly, they've watched you take your courses and go through various projects and so forth, but they might have some things they're wondering about. So what is this hooding all about? And what does that mean? So I'll tell you a little bit about that. But I also want to discuss what it's like to be, what it means to have a master's degree, be a graduate student. So very simply put, in order to enter a master's degree program, you have to have your bachelor's degree. And that seems pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised. I occasionally get applications for admissions from high school students. You say, high school students? How does that happen? Well, they know that they're going to be graduating. They think that they will have been graduates, and so they think that they should apply to the graduate school. Now, it's a little embarrassing for them when I kind of explain they need to get their undergraduate degree first, but I tell them to come talk to me in 4 years and be where you are now. So generally, a master's degree is going to require 2 to 3 years of coursework, depending on how the program is structured. And typically, during the new graduate student orientation, we talk about what are the expectations of faculty for you as graduate students. And you may, those of you who actually attended, because I know a few of you didn't, but for those of you who were there at orientation, we talk about those expectations, and you may remember me discussing some of these things. Bachelor's degrees essentially prepare students to enter entry-level jobs and positions. And after a few years, people tend to want to advance. They want to move up into positions that have more responsibility, that have higher earning potential. And that often requires additional education and training. And that's, we assume, why you came to us. There are occasionally some undergraduates who go directly into graduate school. But I think the majority of our students here have been doing things like holding jobs. They were out in the world working for a while and decided that they needed, in order to advance their career, wanted to pursue an advanced education. Now, as graduate students, we have high expectations, as I think all the faculty here will agree, higher than undergraduate students in those tasks. As graduate students, you were asked to prepare more before you entered the classroom. And classes in graduate school are a lot different than an undergraduate course where you may have a lot of lecture. There is group work to be done. There are discussions, literature which is read, those kinds of things. It's a very different environment. And so we need you to prepare more heavily ahead of time to be ready to participate, especially when your classes, most of them are offered once a week. And so you're there and you really have a concentrated period of time to be working. You're asked to take information and data and analyze it in a way that is much more in-depth and maybe of a broader scale than you did as undergraduates. And we ask you to analyze it very critically and ask, what is the consequence of this information and how it is used? What are the implications? How will it affect others? And in many cases, you'll be asked to actually derive and synthesize new information ultimately. And that's what we want out of a master's level student, is to be able to go beyond where undergraduates are just trying to enter and become part of the workforce. You will be the leaders in your fields as you move on with your careers after this point. And your employers will expect more out of you as well with that master's degree. So we have higher expectations, and with those higher expectations come greater challenges. Sometimes the work will not only challenge you academically, but personally. Because like I said, I know many of you were holding down jobs, and many of you full-time jobs while you were taking your full load of courses. And that's extremely challenging. We understand how much time that takes. Some of you were graduate teaching assistants, as Dr. Daffron mentioned, teaching classes for us here at the university, laboratory courses and some lectures in some cases. Some of you were graduate athletic assistants, which meant you were assistant coaches or athletic trainers for our athletes on our teams. And so we have a debt to you, but that is also very, very time consuming. And many of you also have families, have your own families, spouses, children, and the sacrifice that you make while you are in graduate school for your family, time away from them while you're working on assignments, working on projects, working on your capstone thesis, that's a sacrifice. And that should make this master's degree even more meaningful for you because you have had many, many challenges to work your way through. Now I just mentioned capstone experiences. Some of these graduate programs require a capstone experience. This could be a project-based class, which is taken at the very end of their degree, their sequence. It could be an internship working for a company, or an applied project, or a research-driven thesis to investigate some scholarly project. Now, these can be some of the most challenging efforts, and that's why they're the capstone experience. Completing a thesis isn't as simple as just going to the library, reading a few papers, and writing that paper to be turned in at the end of the semester. It takes developing a hypothesis, developing the method to investigate it, how will data be collected, how will that data be analyzed critically, and then trying to determine if your hypothesis was proven or not. Sometimes, a lot of times, especially in the sciences, we get it wrong more often than we get it right. And so getting an incorrect result or having our hypothesis being disproven is not necessarily a bad thing. We learn in the process. Now, some projects may have taken you even longer than you may have planned. Sometimes there are projects will take an extra semester or two. I even knew a student once who took them an extra 3 semesters beyond what she had expected because the project was very challenging, but she stuck with it. She was determined. Now, my graduate advisor, when I was a student, he had a little formula, and I don't know if this would have helped you while you were working towards your capstone projects or not, but the first time you work on a project, take the time that you think it's going to take you to complete the project, multiply that by 3, and add half. So if this is, I found this true in life and projects I work on at home, as well as in academics, and that may or may not have been helpful while you were planning, so I'm sorry if that's a little late. Now, the expectations of that capstone project and your thesis advisors or your advisory committees, for those of you who had those to finish your projects, can be very challenging and stressful at times because your thesis advisor will often push you even farther. And this can be very stressful, and you may even disagree with what they're asking you to do. You may disagree with their view on your project. But I also, during the new graduate student orientation, I believe I may have also told you, if you don't disagree or get in an argument with your thesis advisor, something's probably wrong. But this is also an opportunity for learning and growth, learning how to deal with conflict in a professional manner that will come through in the end with something that everybody can at least agree with can be a very useful skill to take with you as you leave, especially if those of you who are going to be managers and supervisors and you're going to have to deal with conflicts. Now, again, once we have these capstone projects or theses, there's usually a final presentation or a defense in front of either a faculty member or a group of faculty members, and this is a form of peer review. If you successfully defend your thesis, or project, which if you're here, you have, then you have basically crossed over from being a student to becoming a peer with your faculty. And so congratulations for that. Also, if you're sitting here right now, you've persevered through many of those challenges we talked about. And that brings us to the hooding, which is what we're really here for. So what's the hooding all about? What does this mean? We have these colorful things around our necks, and they have all kinds of different colors. And we're wearing these robes. Let's start with the robes. The robes worn by faculty and students goes back to medieval times in the 12th and 13th century when institutions of higher learning were starting to be formed, and many of them came out of ecclesiastical or church-related organizations. And the robes were worn primarily because the first faculty were often clerics and monks who were teaching. They were the educated ones. But those monasteries that they worked in, or those, I hate to say castles, that's probably not a good thing, but they weren't heated very well. And so the robes were really worn for warmth, as were the hoods, which really were hoods that came up then, and the caps. So really they have nothing to do with anything academic. It was all about keeping warm. Now, in the 14th century in England, as academic institutions were becoming much more institutionalized, these universities started mandating that faculty wear distinguishing robes to separate them or to distinguish them from the students. Now, higher level students, or those who of highborn birth, correct? They would often have hoods that had silk linings that were colorful or made of fur, while the lower level students had hoods that were either wool and black and not very comfortable. So they began to go away, and the hood began to become a symbol of higher level education. Now, the robes, you may see there's information on the academic regalia in your programs, and the colors that you see on the hoods have special significance. We have two sets of colors. You have what is really around our necks, and this is usually in velvet or something similar, and then the inside on the back. Now, the inside lining is usually silk and represents the institution where that person earned their degree. So I went to the University of Virginia, and so the inside of my hood is blue and orange. And they vary all over the place from faculty getting their degrees at so many different universities. What they do have in common is this second color, which represents the academic discipline. And so this you can find in the back, on the back inside cover, I believe, of your program. And so I'm not going to tell you what they are. You can kind of make it a game as they come up here and try to guess what their academic degree is before they come across the stage. Now, the hooding ceremony. Students will come up in just a moment, and they will be followed by a faculty member from their graduate program. In many cases, this may be a faculty member who supervised or was their thesis or capstone project advisor. You forge a very close bond with your advisor, and it's an honor to have them hood you. The hooding itself, with a faculty member who's going to stand on this box most of the time, because we have some tall people out there, some tall graduates, placing the hood onto the student represents that student transitioning from a student to a master in the discipline. And that's the significance of this. It's sort of like tomorrow you're going to move your tassels from the right side to the left side. That's sort of that transition for undergraduates. So I've tried to answer a couple of questions. What's the significance of the master's degree? What's the significance of the hoopla of this whole hooding thing? But you may have one other question, and that is, why is this the first ever master's hooding ceremony? We have been hooding our students in front of, or during commencement, ever since that first group in 2009, but we only had 10 students there. Now we're up to 52, and what we want to do is to recognize their accomplishments, both academic and personal, and share them with you and have it be a much more personal experience. And so we look forward to you moving on to bigger and better things, whether it's into new jobs or new roles, or a new location. I know that some of you, I know of at least one of you out there who's thinking about going to a higher level in education, to pursuing your doctorate. There might be more that I'm not aware of. Well, whatever it is that you choose to do next, wherever it is that you go, take what you've learned here, both academically and personally, and try to do the best you can do, try to make a difference, and remember that everything is possible. Congratulations.
Good evening. At this time, we will present the candidates who will be receiving their master's degrees. The master's degree is the highest non-honorary academic degree awarded by Missouri Western State University. As Dr. Caldwell just explained, the graduates receiving a master's degree will receive a hood that represents the attainment of that degree. The interior silk lining of the hood displays the gold and black colors of Missouri Western. The opening of the hood is trimmed in velvet in the color representing the academic field, as Dr. Caldwell suggested earlier. Assisting with the hoods will be faculty members from each graduate's master's program. Will the candidates for master's degrees please rise? Each of these students has met all of the requirements of the faculty and of the Board of Governors for the following degrees: Master of Applied Science, Master of Applied Arts, Master of Applied Science in Assessment, Master of Applied Science in Forensic Investigation, Master of Information Management, Master of Science, and Master of Science in Nursing. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for the master's degrees please come forward? Will the respective faculty members please take their places with them? Kelly Jolie Boley, Master of Applied Science in Forensic Investigation. Kelsey Lynn Morris, Master of Applied Science in Forensic Investigation. Hiba Abdallah Ahmed, Master of Applied Science in Forensic Investigation. Karthik Gadamidi, Master of Applied Arts in Digital Media. Avash Shrestha, Master of Applied Arts in Digital Media. Tracy Ann Wharton, Master of Applied Arts in Written Communication. Jen Fong Huang, Master of Applied Science and Chemistry. Jenny Louise Stanhope, Master of Applied Science in Human Factors and Usability Testing. Matthew S. Scott, Master of Applied Science in Human Factors and Usability Testing. Todd Matthew Reese, Master of Applied Science in Human Factors and Usability Testing. Michael Kevin Moore, Master of Applied Science in Human Factors and Usability Testing. Melissa Jane Feldhausen, Master of Applied Science, Industrial Life Science. Bukala Sumiyat Odupatan, Master of Applied Science, Industrial Life Science. James Patrick O'Brien, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. Yanis Matulis, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. LaShawn Michelle Jones, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. Dominic Eugene Thomas, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. Jenda K. Smith, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. Haley Sue Robinson, Master of Applied Science, Sport and Fitness Management. Ching Yung Lau, Master of Information Management. Sarita Pani, Master of Information Management. Hari Priya Boni, Master of Information Management. Swathi Kella, Master of Information Management. Nandakanth Karike, Master of Information Management. Avinash Boka, Master of Information Management. Rajashekar Ganaguntla, Master of Information Management. Hari Babu Baipanani, Master of Information Management. Tharun Kumar Macheti, Master of Information Management. Anvesh Tula, Master of Information Management. Sanjay Gawali, Master of Information Management. Hitesh Alam, Master of Science, Information Technology Assurance Administration. Bharath Rajpuli, Master of Science, Information Technology Assurance Administration. Meghashayam Dabara, Master of Science, Information Technology Assurance Administration. Alyssa Lauren Zorn, Master of Science in Nursing. Melissa Suzanne Jeffers, Master of Science in Nursing. Ashley Nicole Helmick, Master of Science in Nursing. Amanda Jane Ozenberger, Master of Science in Nursing. Mary Beth Williams, Master of Science in Nursing. Kelly Jo Hartman, Master of Science in Nursing. Courtney Reve Tritton, Master of Science in Nursing. Cassie Jo Lamp, Master of Science in Nursing. Arun Prasath, Master of Information Management.
I know you're all very anxious to start your celebration and continue tomorrow with the actual commencement exercise, so I'll be very brief. I can't tell you how gratifying it is to see all of these graduate degrees in so many different academic areas. I'm just very, very proud of you. You are, as indicated before by the provost, the first master's hooding ceremony, and we really appreciate that, and you are now part of Missouri Western history. My congratulations to all of you, and certainly my congratulations to your proud parents and friends who are in attendance. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
I invite everyone to join us across the hall in the Enright Room for a reception in honor of our newly hooded master's degree graduates. So at the conclusion of the ceremony, in just a few moments, we will ask our guests to please remain seated until the platform party, our graduates who have just been hooded, and the faculty have exited the room. Now, would you please stand and join us in singing our Alma Mater? You will find the words on page 7 of your program. Congratulations to our graduates and their family and friends. The spring 2017 hooding ceremony is now concluded. Thank you.